The rule of law is important for the protection of the rights of individual citizens in relation to the state, members of one society in relation to others, as well as for ensuring sound framework of interstate relationships in the globalized world. More important is that rule of law should prepare the basis for human society to proceed towards the realm of freedom, ending all forms of exploitation of men by men. We firmly believe that ensuring the rule of law at the international level assumes as much importance as at the national level because it provides essential tools and principles for peaceful coexistence and cooperation among states. Rule of law, however, should not be used as a cover of domination of one country by another, and practicing double standard in its application should be avoided. When we endeavor to set the rule of law at international level, it is extremely important to create a level of playing field where all states can participate in an equitable manner. Accumulation of wealth amidst despicable poverty and consumption of resources at the cost of very existence of our planet Earth cannot go in line with the rule of law. Mr. President, Nepal believes that the United Nations is the most well-placed and legitimate multilateral institution to promote the rule of law at both national and international levels. Observance of the purpose and principle enshrined in the UN Charter and the international law, and promoting multilateralism in handling all international issues of common concerns play a pivotal role in promotion of the rule of law in a broader context. Nepal places high importance on the revitalization of the General Assembly to make it the most legitimate and competent organ for the development of international norms, standards, and legal instruments. Nepal remains committed to promoting rule of law at international level by adhering to the Charter of the United Nations and fulfilling its obligations emanating from international treaty bodies to which it is a party. The rule of law agenda at the national level is more important for countries emerging out of conflict, where strengthening administrative, law enforcement, and judiciary institutions and other governance mechanisms need to be accorded top priority. Enhanced level of international support under the aegis of the United Nations would help such countries in grappling with the establishment of proper environment to encourage and ensure rule of law. National ownership and capacity building need to be at the core while seeking to establish and sustain necessary legal and institutional infrastructures. The rule of law must seek to promote inclusive, just, and equitable societies for addressing the root causes of conflict, such as poverty, exclusion, marginalization, and deprivation in political, economic, and social spheres. Mr. President, Nepal is committed to strengthening the rule of law at the national level as a part of its historical transformation process. In fact, the historic struggle of all the Nepali people, with sacrifices of thousands of lives, was for the purpose of establishing rule of law along with equity and justice. Thus, Nepal is committed to ensure rule of law, promotions and protection of human rights, and ending impunity. As per the provisions of the Comprehensive Peace Accord signed in 2006, a key turning point of our homegrown peace process, and the interim constitution, a transitional justice mechanism necessary to take the peace process to the logical conclusion, is in the offing over broad consultations among stakeholders. It will address the national and international requirements for durable peace, justice, and reconciliation in a holistic manner. I hope that the international community, which is very supportive of our peace process, understands the sensitivity of our peace process and our main thrust to end conflict forever. Nepal has ratified major human rights instruments, including 7 out of 9 core human rights instruments. Over the recent years, a number of initiatives have been taken at reforming governance and rule of law. In Nepal, the National Human Rights Commission is a designated constitutional body working as a watchdog of human rights protection and promotion. The capacity of the institution is being built as a real custodian of human rights for all the people, a mechanism for effective execution of the decisions and recommendations of Nepal National Human Rights Council and judgments of the Supreme Court has been established at the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Reforms in legal aid, judicial reform, reform in the police law, and a number of reforms and amendments to legislations which deemed discriminatory have come into effect. Other important initiatives started with earnest objectives are underway. For LDCs emerging out of conflict, enhanced level of support with adequate resources, know-how and technical capacity building are needed in a coordinated and coherent manner to strengthen rule of law. The international community should come out with an effective support measure to promote national ownership and capacity building of such countries for sustained advancement of the rule of law. I also call for adherence to multilateralism and respect for the guiding principles and standards of the international law at the international level. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I now give the floor to His Excellency Miroslav Lajčák, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs of Slovakia.
Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a distinct honor and pleasure for me to address this Assembly at the outset of its 67th session. This high-level meeting on the rule of law at the national and international level provides us with an excellent opportunity to share our views and experiences on the rule of law as core principle of governance that ensures justice and fairness, values so essential to our humankind today and in the